RaceSpot community has once again made its voice being heard, and today, as we continue our journey around the iRacing official series, RaceSpot Friday Night Primetime lands in the 15th anniversary Skippy Challenge. Hello everyone, only a week or so away from the 15th anniversary of the iRacing servers going live to the public. It is time to celebrate what has been a remarkable journey. Our Junior Kenki Party joins you alongside with Will Chadwick, and just a reminder, you can follow along with live timing and scoring by heading to RaceSpot.tv/timing. Will, 15 remarkable years of official iRacing public access, and of course this coming week drivers have the opportunity to get iRacing credits to their name, but 15 years? What kind of stories, what was your first memory that you can remember of finding out about iRacing?
I've got to say, it's hard to pick out when I first found out about iRacing. It have got to be sometime when I was around about 12. My dad got like a 3-month subscription, and I went round in the Mazda MX-5 for a little bit. But after that, I took a bit of a hiatus. But like you say, I mean, iRacing's been such a popular simulator for many years now, and it's amazing to be celebrating 15 years.
And of course, it's actually gotten me, this 15th anniversary, to get back behind the wheel. 4 official of weeks of competition. The 15th anniversary Solstice Cup started things off. Last week you had the opportunity to jump into a Legends car, back onto the road courses today with the Skippy Challenge, and next week it is over to the ovals once more to close out the celebratory month. Here's a look though at how the voting played out. It was quite popular this 15th anniversary. Maybe that was because we thought it would be at the Charlotte Roval. Instead we head to the Virginia International Raceway. No one wanted to see NASCAR Cup at Watkins Glen though, Will. That is a shock. I must say, a shock to myself.
I wish so. I wish we'd gone to that. I mean, 20% of people have said yes, but unfortunately we're not going there. But this Skippy is a very classic car, one of the, if not the first car on the iRacing service, but I'm sure you maybe have a stat for that one. And yeah, it's such a staple of iRacing, what it represents, and I think we're going to have a good race regardless.
I know we are. I think regardless of where we had gone, we would have had some fun. Even the Formula 4 at Road America with its fixed setup, I'm sure would have been quite intriguing. A quick preview as to, with the voting already open for Week 11 on August the 25th, what is in store where you can vote. NASCAR Cup action at Daytona. Maybe we can see those next generation machines rolling around the high banks. Porsche Cup at Silverstone. Legacy always means an interesting start as we run our way into the old Turn 1 at Copse before Formula 1600 at Belle Isle. Formula 4 once again at Suzuka. Will, I think I know which way you might be leaning here.
NASCAR I fix. No, I mean, obviously, I do enjoy myself a bit of Porsche Cup over the years, but you know, we've got to vote for a reason. You guys get to say where you want to go, and make sure you turn up as well. Why not come, get on camera, cheer around, do some laps, and get us commentating over you. But yeah, Silverstone, Porsche Cup, Legacy, a very interesting one, and a few other key combinations there too.
Yeah, no, I like the way that you put it as well, where make sure that you show up. It's not just your opportunity to get your voice heard in terms of where we go in the official series, but your choice, your opportunity as well to join us here on RaceSpotTV on Friday Night Primetime, and to join us in the field, as a couple of drivers are doing right now out there on track for qualifying. There's Miguel Angel Fonseca. We're very familiar with him from the Precision Racing League GT3 series. He's one of the few, let's say, experienced drivers in this field. And that's the great thing that we often get on Fridays, Will, is the fact that we see the inexperience and the experience out here on Primetime.
Well, you never know. This could be someone's first race. Every race is always going to be someone's first race, technically, I guess, if you've got enough people to race. But yeah, it could be someone's first adventure out here, especially at this track, in this car. And, you know, I think that's all part of the iRacing experience. You've got so many different combinations, so much variety, so many races, hour upon hour. Let's not forget, this series is run every half an hour. There's so many races throughout the day that you can get involved in. I think it really epitomises why iRacing has been so great over the past 15 years.
Yeah, we have 4 rookies in the field, so drivers that are still very much in their introduction to the iRacing universe. Here's Elin Yuan in the number 11 Skip Barber, weaving his way to the line on what is his second attempt in qualifying, so he's not going to find any improvement and will start at best in the 5th spot. One thing you'll note is we are using the Virginia International Raceway, but we're using one of the interesting layouts of it, as the 11 has a bit of an interesting spin.
Yeah, it's actually a very, very interesting layout, but it does come with a full pit lane, perhaps something you'd see in more of a classic series. And yeah, like you were saying, we were looking at the number 11 there, and from what I can see initially, I believe they're on a controller. I've just been looking at their steering movements, and it shows you so many people have so many different setups that they can still come and play on this simulator, no matter what your equipment is.
15 years of iRacing, what a remarkable number that really is when you think about the evolution that it has had. We are celebrating it here today with the 15th anniversary Skippy Challenge. We have brought the Skip Barbers out to the Virginia International Raceway to play, qualifying in the books. Let's run you down through the starting grid for today's race here at the Virginia International Raceway. So Miguel Angel Fonseca will lead us to the green in a rolling start. He'll have Rafael Bird alongside, hoping to sprout some wings, while Dhruv Chawla and then Sai Ashish will line up on the 2nd row of the grid. Josh Osborne and then Jax Perrineau will line up 5th and 6th positions, while 7th sees Jonathan Paulus and then Martin James alongside him. Through your top 10, Castor Nava and then Bennett Tompkins, while Yilin Duan and then Anthony Carlone are 11th and 12th, and lining up at the very back of the 12-car grid. They will get their full formation lap underway in just a few moments' time, which does mean in the Skip Barbers opportunities to get some temperature into the rock hard tires.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm just watching the number 11 wiggle its steering side by side. But yeah, like you say, this tyre works a lot more traditionally to a tyre that we usually get from like a GT3 car, GT4 car. There's a lot more warm-up involved, and I think it's something that we don't really get to see much anymore. I think a lot of the tyres on iRacing and the way that the game, the simulator has gone, is meant that we don't really get much of a tyre build-up, and this is one of those classic cars that really allows you to develop that skill.
We've always had this as one of the introductions right into the world of iRacing, along with the MX-5 in terms of slower classes and slower cars. But of course, we've had a number of others being added to the mix recently. The Formula V, one of our options for voting next week as well, the Formula 1600. There's a couple of different ways for drivers now to get their starts in the world of iRacing. I know you and me probably have pretty fond memories of this car.
Yeah, I mean, this car was very much a staple of open formula racing when I first got underway on iRacing. I think that's obviously changed a lot recently, like you say, with the introduction of the Formula V, now the Formula 1600. I think that iRacing over the past 2-3 years have really worked on a staple kind of on the way up type of ranking system where the cars are very, very progressive. And I think that's obviously very good for the new users, but obviously people have drove these cars a little bit less. So it just brings you back to the classic, brings you back to the good old times, and we'll get some good old racing, I'm sure.
I think it is going to be quite fun. I did the first week of the anniversary stuff at the beginning of the month, slowest out here at this very layout of VIR. I didn't do too badly, but did find myself struggling a little bit, especially as you work your way over here, a blind entry down the hill, trying to then set up for this left-hand hairpin and then trying to carry that momentum into the final sector. Passing opportunities few and far between here, Will.
Yeah, it's a bit of a technical track, but I do believe it lends itself more to a mistake, especially with the elevation that we have here. It's very easy to have the car go light on you, you lose a little bit of grip, the car over-rotates on entry, especially in those blind over-crest entries. So I think it's a lot of chance for people to make mistakes. We've got a decently sized straight, so despite it being quite a narrow and twisty track, I still see overtaking being pretty okay.
It's going to be about making the most out of that draft, and especially the important run out of the what is officially dubbed here on RaceSpotTV, Will, the hashtag RIP Oak Tree Corner.
Where's the Oak Tree, man? I want it back.
We all want it back, but here in the sim, the oak tree no longer lives, as it no longer does in the real world either. Pace car off and away in the field, not really formed up. Miguel Angel Fonseca punches the throttle, and the 15th anniversary Skippy challenge is green. Are they 4 wide behind? I think they were for a moment. Fonseca's going to lead them into the braking zone at the shortcut. He'll have a clear view of the mirrors. A big send from behind, and chaos. Charwala gets clipped by the number 11 machine, and there's a parking lot for some.
Yeah, and sometimes just into those turn ones you can get a bit carried away trying to get a move done, and that's given a massive advantage to Fonseca out front now, and you'd really have to expect him to be able to develop this gap. But a fantastic start from Navarro as well, or there was until that corner.
In terms of movers and shakers, Nava's already up 5 positions as we cycle through to the second of the shortcuts. This one takes you in towards the S's and directly into the S's as well. Nava behind Rafael Bird and Jax Peronu, but not going to be able to get the momentum that run up towards the final couple of corners. This is a timed race, by the way, so about 12 minutes of racing, maybe 10 laps or so, and as Fonseca rises up towards the very final corner, it's already with a 2-second advantage at the end of the opening lap.
Yeah, just watching Fonseca through that final corner there, using all the track, really demonstrating to our drivers here today how to use this track. And I think that's something that you learn, and many people have learned over the past 15 years, kind of the ability to use all the track and really develop their driving skills.
And this car as well demands so much racecraft to maintain the momentum. Nava's going to lose out to Ashish initially on the entry into turn 1, but the inside line prevails, and the all-black machine slips back now closer to Charwala, who's trying to recover after the big drama through the opening corner. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. Just a big send from the 11 as they all stack up under the brakes.
I think it was more of a missed braking point. I think you can get very fixated on the cars around you, especially when you're going down into turn number 1, and once you've braked too late, you don't want to mess up, you don't want to lock up. Of course, this car has no assist for the driver. You just try and avoid everyone, and we've seen the best do it. You know, I'm thinking back to one final major round in another simulator where we saw some drivers have similar issues. So happens to the best, and I think sometimes you just have to sit there and own up to your own mistake. Absolutely.
Martin Janes, by the way, we saw the number 8 have a bit of a slide as well, down to 7th. There's promoted Peronu to 2nd now, and Nava's going to lose out to Charwala, and what is a continued pretty hectic squabble for 5th position. 6 seconds now clear at the end of the second lap. I believe that if you're Miguel Angel Fonseca, you're going to back the pace down and maybe reduce the number of laps that we've got to run. It's a 3-way fight behind, though, for second, third, and 4th positions. And when we talk about tyre wear in a 12-minute race, you're not really necessarily talking about too much. But these are also the type of tyres, Will, which are designed to run for as long as feasibly possible.
Exactly, and I think you'll see a large kind of ramp up, I think, initially from how much grip the tyre is able to give you, but then it'll be very, very stable. It's a tyre designed for racing, designed for the driver to be able to push hard and really lean on the edge of the tyre. That's something that I think has gone away from racing tyres over the past 15 years, potentially, as you look at the way that Formula 1 gone. Unfortunately, though, Nava has gone off the road again and is down to 9th despite his amazing start.
And I think it was through that slightly blind crest that I had been mentioning into what I guess is technically turn 4. It's not an easy corner by any means, and so he's not down on pit lane, but Yilin Luan is, along with Bennett Tompkins. So in addition to one car that did not take to the grid, 2 retirees out of the 11 starters. It's going to be almost 8 seconds at the line as we cross to complete lap number 3. Sai Ashish alongside with Rafael Bird and up into the podium spots.
Yeah, and I think this is the battle of our race at the moment. Watching these guys battle out, it's going to be interesting to see down the inside. Oh my word. It looked a bit later on the brakes, I think, from the closing speed between the drivers. But yeah, this is going to be a fantastic race.
And now Rafael Bird just pushing too wide at turn 1 on the grass and just hanging on, but now going to drop back 1.5 seconds. Ashish on the outside with some contact on Peronu as they dive down into turn 4. Oh, they're delivering plenty of excitement for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact just on a bit of an early turn-in from Asherish there, but it's an easy mistake to make. Still got to recoup. Don't believe either of the drivers have damage. What it does do is allows Bird to catch up a bit.
And after that mistake, an important opportunity to slip back into the draft as well. She's going to half show the nose into the penultimate corner, and they will be alongside. The all red machine of Perinu gives up the position, and in this fight for second, Ashish has grabbed 2 positions over the course of 1 lap. Now, though, has got to defend, the draft now being fed to those behind.
Well, like you say, gave up the place, but crucially gets the run onto the straight, able to attack down into turn number 1 here. Will there be a move on? It's certainly something that could happen. Will we see one of the drivers maybe brake a little bit too late? We side by side into the apex, but it's going to remain in the current positions as we see Bird start attacking and nearly making the same mistake again.
That wasn't deja vu. He's just pushing that hard through that particular complex. You can just see the undulation. The track settles before it rises into that blind crest, and now Ashish actually has a full second advantage over those battling for the 3rd spot. With these cars as well, we talk about the tires and how you need to drive them. The other thing to think about, Will, is how you drive the cars themselves. These are momentum-based cars. You're trying to carry as much minimum apex speed at every corner you can.
Yeah, and let's not forget how hard these cars are to drive. I think all these kind of rookie cars with limited aero devices tend to be quite hard to drive, very aggressive on the initial entry. You'll see a lot of drivers maybe getting some initial slides, the cars acting and feeling quite light underneath you. And I think that's an important factor, really, because a lot of the modern day race cars are a little bit more heavy and cumbersome and perhaps a bit more stable, as we see Bird take the podium position.
Nice and easy there. Perinu not even offering up the defense in towards the long run down the main straight. 10 seconds at the front from Miguel Angel Fonseca. He has been consistently in those 116s and has been able to break away and take advantage of the squabbling behind. In terms of the ladder, Will, we talked about how this car, of course, used to be one of the entryways for so many into the world of iRacing, including the 2 of us. Now with so many different machines, I guess the question I have for you is, if you were going to be starting iRacing from scratch, what cars do you think you would be driving to begin your rookie career?
I think you can't avoid the Mazda MX-5. It's such a staple, such a classic. Everyone seems to get in that across the time on iRacing. Certainly a very, very good car to race and drive. I think once I've passed that, I'm not a massive fan of the Formula V, but I must praise the Formula 1600, which we might see next week if you guys decide to vote for it. So I must praise that car. A fantastic car to drive, and I think that's maybe the way that I would go.
And of course, it's all building up more and more of that ladder that we keep talking about. Even when you go over to some of the other disciplines, there is plenty of free content to get started with, and then as you become more comfortable with it, thinking of the off-road trucks that we covered last week, you can break up into some of those higher licenses and make your way into potential World Championship competitions. I do feel, though, as well, even if you like these slightly lower-powered Formula cars, let's not forget that the FIA partnering up with the team at iRacing, the FIA Formula 4 now going to be the official car, Will, of the British F4 Esports Championship. There's plenty, if you enjoy these lower-powered open-wheel machines, to enjoy on the iRacing service.
Yes, absolutely, and with rumours of newer cars coming in the future, potentially in future seasons, I think that Formula ladder is only going to get more strong, especially with the renewed partnership with Mercedes. So, yeah, I mean, what can you say, really? I think iRacing has become a place of many, many different combinations, and when you come to this service now, there's so many different options and so many fun options. I think that's the main thing, right? Oh, my word, I think I've just seen in the back of the shot there, the number 4's gone off and out of the race.
That is Sai Ashish from second, and by himself making the mistake in what is a rather interesting complex to rise up and then through a fast right, but I don't think he even got on the brakes, and the new damage model on iRacing, definitely not in use 15 years ago, got a bit of a workout.
Yeah, and as you see, just coming into the last section of corners, you've got to carry a lot of speed in here. kind of gets that turn in a bit early and just misses the braking, maybe even a braking failure. But to be honest, when you get on that grass and you carry too much speed, you're not going to slow down much.
It sounded like something weird went on with the engine as well, as though it kind of got stuck in a gear that he didn't want it to and then almost jammed on the throttle. So yeah, definitely a weird one there. And now the field very much separated out. No one really within touching distance. Birds and Perrinu taking full advantage to be second and third. And they've got a bit of gap to Drew Charla because he had his own little bit of drama, of course, tangled up at the start of the race, no fault of his own. And then as he tries to exit turn number 2, just getting straddled up on the curb, and like you say, Will, so easy to do.
Yeah, so easy to do. I was gonna mention, I thought Charla might be the guy to watch going into this final segment, because what he was doing, he was just managing to get quite a lot of pace out. But you see the way he's working the front tyres there, it shows you how not punishing these tyres are. What's that there, back marker?
That was a back marker. Bennett Tompkins in the 10, who then gave Miguel Angel Fonseca a bit of a nervy moment. Fortunately, no more lap traffic, I think, for our race leader to have to navigate with, coming towards the final lap of the race. Yeah,
I think it'll be this lap and then one more potentially, but I don't know about my counting. We'll have to wait and see until our leader Fonseca gets to the line. But a fantastic race so far, and you have to say, just to be able to perform at that level without doing many mistakes, if any mistakes at all, around such a difficult track is certainly a skill that you can only learn by being on iRacing.
No, definitely. And as I mentioned, you talked about all the different things that you can do on iRacing. We at RaceSpotTV are most familiar with Miguel from driving in the Precision Racing League GT3 series. So he is someone that, we see on a Tuesday night representing himself in an Audi R8. Very different sort of a thing as he takes the white flag and 1 to go. And that was a bit of a mistake through the final corner for Rafael Bird. That's Drew Charla having another incident in that number 3.
Yeah, again, potentially catching the grass on the exits, but yeah, we're watching Fonseca go around the first corner now, and just looking at the way that he takes these corners, it's superb, and it shows you across many cars, if you just get those core principles down and the way that you use a track and the way that you drive a car here on this iRacing service, no matter the car, you can always perform.
And it I think also goes to show us that especially here on iRacing, with so much open to you, you need to be open to being adaptable, to trying new cars, and especially with tracks that always seem to be getting updated, you need to be willing to learn and to figure out how to go quicker. What an exciting 12 minutes this was, though. Let's not forget, 15th anniversary celebrations continue through the rest of the month of August for the team at iRacing. But it's out of the final corner where Miguel Angel Fonseca brings the Skip Barber out here at the Virginia International Raceway to take the checkered flag on Friday night primetime. It's going to be a long wait before we get Rafael Bird and the rest of the field on through. But 15 years of iRacing, and let's not forget, on the 26th of August, if your iRacing subscription is active, iRacing giving us a small token of their appreciation. However many years you've been around at iRacing, you will receive an equal number of credits to maybe, Will, buy some of those new cars that you were talking about.
Yeah, potentially a new season on the horizon, rain being teased ever more, something that's probably been in development for 15 years. I'm sure many people will say that as we watch one of the cars that looks like it's been running for the past 15 years with some engine issues across the line, and a little bit of a crash as well.
Just a little bit of drama to the end of the race. I believe it was Bennett Tompkins that blew up the engine, something that I think we have all done in this Skip Barber racing machine as well. I'm looking forward to heading out there in the 15th anniversary Skippy Challenge. I'm not going to do it at VIR. I think I might do that when the day rolls over in a couple of hours' time and the series heads to Charlotte Roval, but still plenty of opportunities for you to join the celebration as the drivers all finish things up. We can grab a look at the race results and finish things up here at America's Motorsports Resort. 20 seconds in just 12 minutes of racing. Miguel Angel Fonseca ran away at the front, while Rafael Bird and Jacques Perrinu grabbed the other steps on the podium. Jonathan Paulus in front of Drew Charla, with Castor Nava, Anthony Carlone, Sayashish, Martin Janes, and then Bennett Tompkins through the top 10, with 3 drivers not scored there on the leading lap. Yilin Guan was down in 11th, and not taking the green was Joshua Osborne in our 12-car contingent. Fastest lap, as expected, did also go the way on Miguel Angel Fonseca. Friday night primetime usually does not leave us with the opportunities to grab a couple of words with the drivers, and so will, as we get ready to wrap things up, as we look forward to next week's activities. Let's just remind everyone what is on the slate for voting. RaceSpot.wtf/Discord to get your voice heard. Again, we know where you're thinking, Will, but I think we are in for a rather interesting race on the August the 25th, no matter where we go.
Absolutely, I think we will be. And yeah, no, just vote Porsche Cup. Please vote Porsche Cup. Go to the Discord. Go to the RaceSpot Discord now, and please vote for Porsche Cup. Thank you.
but I'm curious what you think about Silverstone Legacy rather than the regular Silverstone layout.
You know, it's an interesting one, right? Because I did a data pack for it not too many hours ago, and it's quite interesting. It's a bit of something new, really, because I feel like we don't drive it that much these days. We don't drive any of these legacy old circuits that maybe have old layouts like Silverstone does, and it definitely is a refreshing thing that, you know, you can't do in the real world. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, I mean, now that, well, you kind of can, but you really can't. There are some series that go and run the old pit lane and whatnot, but yes, Turn 1 Cops, definitely something of the past. And well, 15th anniversary of iRacing coming up, 15 years of incredible development, and that's just been in the public eye. The 15th anniversary Skippy Challenge continues until the turn of the iRacing week, and then the celebration does not end. Your chance to be a part of RaceSpot's Friday Night Primetime continues for the next 2 weeks in 2023 Season 3. Do make sure that you join us wherever we end up in 7 days from now. On behalf of the team behind the scenes, for Will Chadwick alongside myself, Arjuna Kanki-Party, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in a week's time as you continue to tell us where we'll navigate in the world of the iRacing official series as we make our way through Friday Night Primetime.